July 2015. These are the signatories of the Iran nuclear deal. 5 years on, of the 8 top officials, only the foreign ministers of Iran, Russia and China are still in their posts. But the real survivor, some would say against the odds, is the deal itself. It was the culmination of years of negotiation, and the final round of talks in a July heatwave in Vienna was intense and difficult. The key participants only glimpsed briefly between meetings.
Are you confident you can get a deal, Mr. Zarif?
I have to be hopeful.
I have to be hopeful, were his words before returning to the talks, in which, according to a number of accounts, the French took the toughest line with Iran. Their chief negotiator at the time was Ambassador Nicolas de Rivière. Ambassador, if you look at it now, do you think you could have got a better deal?
At a certain point, this is always like that in a negotiation. You have the feeling that you have reached an agreement, and if you don't, you have a choice. Either take the agreement or fail. And I think we decided, all of us, to take the agreement. I think retrospectively, it is a good agreement. It is a robust agreement. If you would ask me 5 years later what was my state of mind in those days, I was still a little skeptical in 2015, in July 2015, that the agreement would work.
One man has made no secret of his view of the deal.
The Iran deal was one of the worst and most one-sided transactions the United States has ever entered into.
President Trump finally pulled the US out of the deal in 2018. It survived, even though Iran is not now fully complying with all its conditions. The biggest test, though, is still to come, here at the UN Security Council. US Ambassador to the UN, Kelly Craft, wants the Security Council to extend the arms embargo on Iran that expires later this year. If she doesn't get her way, she's threatening to use the nuclear deal's most draconian clause, what's known as snapback, triggering the return of all international sanctions on Iran. Former French negotiator Nicolas de Rivière is now his country's ambassador to the UN. What happens if the US try to trigger snapback?
This is speculation. We'll see. My priority, I think the priority of the E3, France, the UK and Germany, is to keep this nuclear framework in place.
It's thought the US Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden would likely seek to rejoin the nuclear deal if he's elected in November. But diplomats fear if snapback has been triggered by the Trump administration, there may be no deal left to rejoin. James Bays, Al Jazeera, at the United Nations.